Hey, what's going on, everybody? What is happening? Paul here, and I'll be your DM for a little while. And I wanted to jump on live tonight because I didn't want to make any videos, to be honest with you. I just didn't want to create a video. I just said, you know what? There's things in my brain, there's things I want to do and share, but I just don't have the I don't know, fortitude. I need to do I need to do a fortitude check. Not a fortitude check. I need to do a constitution check. I failed it. Let's just say that I failed my constitution check, and I didn't want to make a video. So instead, I made a roll on my charisma, and I said we're going to go live. So here I am. So that's what you get when you fail your charisma check. You wind up going you wind up going live. I mean, you fail your constitution check, you go live. So I thought I'd answer a few questions tonight. Before we get into that, though, if you're watching this live right now with me, first of all, welcome in. Thank you for being here. If you are new to the channel, what I try to do is I call myself the tabletop tinker in a lot of ways, just because I like to tinker with things. I like to mess around with things. I like to just kind of fiddle around. I don't do this channel for bucks, and I don't even think I don't know if it'll ever be that way, nor do I think it's my goal. I simply see this as a vehicle to share my ideas and have my own little place on the web to just simply come in and say, hey, I want to share some ideas I have, something I did, and something. I'll tell you this, something that bothered me the other day, and another reason why I wanted to go live is I heard somebody describe channels. They said that they're really tired of show and tell channels, and I thought to myself, that's interesting, a show and tell. Now, I do some show and tell because I do, show and tells. I tell you about, unboxings and things of that nature. I'll do, the dungeon box, dungeon in a box. I've done that. And, uh, and I think I was offended by that in a way, in a good way, maybe. Maybe I was offended in a good way because here's the deal. You guys watch a lot of channels, probably like I do, and I might stop watching a lot of channels, not because they're bad or anything, but because I think trying to develop, I don't want my channel to be like everybody else's channel. I don't want to cover what everybody else is covering. You notice that I stayed away from all the OGL stuff. I stayed away from all that stuff because I just wasn't interested in it. First of all, I'm probably not smart enough to figure all that stuff out, and you guys have other resources for that. The thing that I would like to bring to the table, did you see what I did there? What I bring to the table is my stories of my table. 20 people will share their view of the OGL, whatever Wizards might be doing, all that stuff, industry news. I'm just not interested. I'm interested in making your table better as I make my table better because I'm always growing. I'm always feel like I'm developing. I always feel like I'm learning something new. And in doing that, I think that's the uniqueness of the channel here. I don't want to be just a show and tell. And I think that's what it corrected me in a lot of ways is that they didn't want to watch show and tell. And I agree. Listen, there's a lot of great show and tell. They will share things with you, and I'm still going to share things with you. There's going to be some show and tell, folks. I got news for you. I'm going to keep showing, and I'm going to keep telling. That's how it's going to work. I'm just going to keep showing off stuff as I get things, and but what I think, like I said, what is unique is what I do at my table. Nobody can copy what I do at my table, and nobody can copy what you do at your table. And so my goal is to make your table better. My goal is to offer ideas, inspiration, encouragement through what's happening at my table to make your table better. And that's when I'm tinkering around with things. And then there's the whole Flint Fireforge thing, which is just kind of a fun name, just a fan of Dragonlance. And every time I pop up in somebody's that knows the Lord of the Lance or Dragonlance books or anything like that, they go, oh, look, Flint Fireforge is here. And so I think that's just fun. That's just maybe a thing I like doing, just to pop in, just kind of get on people's radar and stuff like that. But I am really a tabletop tinkerer. I like to just tinker with things at the table and then share them with you all. So yeah, I'm going to answer some questions tonight. So if you have questions and you're here and you're brand spanking new, by the way, feel free to subscribe. If you're watching this later on, would love for you to be a part, and you can subscribe here. And then, if you really like the video and things that I'm talking about, well, hit that thumbs up button. And then that way, that tells me that you like videos and you like when I go live. And that way, I'll do more of these. I think I'm going to do more of these because that's another thing is that maybe not as many people do live shows or like to talk live for whatever reason. But I find that's to be my best way to do things. It's just going live and taking things off the cuff and answering questions or just sharing. I've built up a lot. In my head, I wanted to do a lot of different videos, but I think I'm just going to do 2 and 3 ideas in a live video and then go ahead and make those into other videos that if you don't want to watch a whole live stream for it, well, then it'll be out there in the world for you to be able to follow. So what has been going on? So that's it. Enough of that. That's enough of the introductory things of my thoughts on where I think this channel's going, what I think I'm going to be producing more of, doing more live, answering more questions, do a little bit of show and tell, but really just bring the uniqueness of what I do at my table and maybe share it with you to make your table a little bit better. That's the goal. All right, so let's couple of things. I don't get to show these off much unless I'm doing a live game, which I love still doing in-person games. I still do online games. But I recently went to Huntsville, and if you watched my video about anxiety and dungeon mastering and things like that, then you saw my picture. Let's see, yes, of these guys, and you've been on the table. There is I used my new centipede. I needed a centipede. Now I'll talk about why that's important later. But the centipede I bought was from a company called Good Meads Emporium. Good Meads Emporium on Etsy. And they had a really cool centipede there. And it came broken down. It was in about three parts, I guess, maybe 4 if you include the base, and then 3 other parts. Glued it together, put it together, and I think it's a really good model. Solid. Did very little, by the way, as far as trimming. So all of that was really, really done well. And if you're interested in them, I'm going to leave a link down to Good Meads Emporium. I feel like they did a super job with that, and so I am interested in doing more. And this is how it turned out. So this is how it turned out right here. I like those little, I didn't do very much with the teeth there just because I said that looks scary enough. Like you got the eyes and then you just got those little teeth in there. I'm going to get you. And so, yeah, so that's, once again, I think I've probably done a video on this. I don't do things like super high, I don't know what to call it. I'm not super fancy about things. I really just want stuff that's good enough to look at the table. And the guys that I played with this in Huntsville and did the table with them, they were taking pictures of this and they commented about the little teeth there and stuff. And they said, hey, that's cool. And, that's really the effect I wanted to have. I wanted to have the effect of just having a decent model at the table, something that's kind of like wow worthy, as far as, table ready stuff. Doesn't have to be super. And if that's you and you want to do, your own paints and stuff like that, don't worry about it. I mean, that's not a perfect figure. If you were to do really super close-ups on it, you'd be like, wow, that's, not great. Then I have a little one here. This was a little bit harder. I think I got this from, I don't know where I got this from, but anyway, it's a tinier one. A tinier version of that. I did some differential on it, but this little spot's in here, like in between the legs where I'm painting the rock, like in this spot right here. My Lord, man, that was, but like I said, if you look real close, there's, issues probably. It's like, oh, it's not perfect, but you know what? I don't play at a perfect table, and you probably don't play at a perfect table too. So don't worry about it. It's not that big a deal, but I think this came out really well. It doesn't have the teeth in it, but I think it's scary enough that if you see this come out, then, and because I needed to, and I'll once again, these play a part in the later story here that I'm going to share about answering one of these questions. And so talking about let's go to the first question. First question is, what are your go-to one-shots? And I ask this of a lot of people, and everybody's got their own thing about it. As a I'm a professional Dungeon Master, which means I play run games for money over on startplaying.games. There'll be a link down for that as well if you're interested in that. But when I do that, when I look for one shots, I'm looking for, you know, who is this for? Is this for new players to RPGs? Is this for people that are new to 5e? Is this for people that are, you know, who's my audience for this? So, you know, and partly is picking a adventure that others will want to play, but then there's also part of me that says this is the game I want to play. This is what I want to do, because there's no sense in me stressing out over a game that, you know, that other people want to play, but I don't really want to play. So there has to be a match between what I think other people are going to want and what do I want to run. So my go-to adventures, and let me show you here over on Roll20. Well, let's get that out of